Let's talk about something deliciously dangerous, loves. That moment when you realize you're done playing nice, done shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's expectations. Picture every single time you've dimmed your light, softened your voice, or contorted yourself into a version of yourself that's more palatable, more acceptable. Every single compromise that chipped away at your soul, every relationship where you became a shadow of yourself, we're burning that narrative to the ground today. Close your eyes and remember all those moments of self-betrayal. The times you laughed at jokes that made you uncomfortable, the conversations where you stayed silent instead of speaking your truth, the relationships where you became a chameleon, changing colors to blend in, to be loved, to be accepted. Remember how exhausting it was to constantly perform, to constantly edit yourself, to constantly wonder if you were enough. These memories aren't just past experiences, they're battle scars, testament to a war you've been fighting against your own authenticity. And today, we're declaring a ceasefire, not by surrendering, but by reclaiming every single piece of yourself you've ever lost. This isn't just a conversation about dating. This is about a profound, earth-shattering awakening. That moment when you realize you're done apologizing for your complexity, your depth, your multifaceted nature. That moment when you embrace the intoxicating power of your dark feminine energy. This raw, untamed part of you that refuses to be boxed, labeled, or controlled. It's primal, it's powerful, it's unequivocally, unapologetically you. Imagine your dark feminine energy as a wildfire, untamed, uncontrollable, capable of both destruction and incredible regeneration. It's not something to be feared, but something to be celebrated. It's the part of you that knows your worth without needing external validation. The part that understands that your complexity is not a flaw, but your greatest superpower. This energy doesn't ask for permission, it demands recognition. This isn't about being cruel, it's about being so authentically, radiantly yourself that the world has no choice but to recalibrate around your energy. It's about dating from a place of power rather than desperation. No more chasing, no more proving, no more explaining. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that you become the prize they're desperate to win. So pour yourself something strong, maybe a robust red wine or a smoky whiskey that matches your intensity. Get comfortable, sink into your favorite chair, and let's dive into dating in your dark feminine era because the rules have changed. And baby, you're writing them now. Welcome to Lizessence. I'm Liz, and this is where standards are non-negotiable and crowns stay polished, not just as accessories, but as bold statements of self-worth. Today, we're diving deep into dating in your dark feminine era. And let's be brutally, beautifully honest, loves you're exhausted. Tired of dating from a place of lack, tired of over-explaining your worth to people who should instinctively recognize it, tired of watering yourself down to make some mediocre man comfortable, as if your fullness is somehow too much. Let's unpack that exhaustion. It's not just about bad dates or disappointing relationships, it's about the emotional labor you've been carrying, the constant negotiation of your own worth, the mental gymnastics of trying to be the cool girl, the perfect girlfriend, the one who never asks for too much, who never wants too much. It's about the silent compromise you've been making every single day, trading pieces of your authentic self for the illusion of connection, for the hope of being loved. You've spent years, maybe decades, playing small, shrinking your dreams, minimizing your ambitions, apologizing for taking up space, softening your opinions, laughing at jokes that aren't funny, tolerating treatment that would make your younger self cringe. Well, darling, that ends now. This isn't just a dating strategy. This is a full-blown personal revolution. Think about the dreams you've put on hold, the passions you've tucked away, the parts of yourself you've silenced because someone, a partner, a parent, society made you believe they were too much. Your smallness was never a virtue, it was a survival mechanism, a protective shell you built to navigate a world that wasn't ready for your full, fierce, magnificent self. But you're not that person anymore. You're emerging, powerful, unapologetic. Well, it's time to reclaim your power. Time to understand that your worth isn't negotiable and your standards aren't up for debate. Time to recognize that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You are the moment. You are the experience. And any man should consider himself profoundly fortunate to even be in your orbit. First, let's talk about energy. That invisible but potent force that determines everything in dating and in life. Your dark feminine era begins with this radical spine-tingling realization. You are no longer the hunted, you are the huntress. But here's the beautiful, delicious paradox that will change everything. The more you focus on your own pleasure, your own growth, your own magic, the more irresistibly magnetic you become. Energy is not just a concept, it's a lived experience. It's the way you walk into a room, the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you breathe. It's the invisible force that communicates your worth before you even say a word. In your dark feminine era, you're not trying to attract your naturally emanating. You're not performing, you're being. Every movement, every thought, every breath becomes an expression of your deepest, most authentic self. Imagine walking into a room and not needing to prove your worth. Imagine being so deeply connected to yourself that your mere presence is a statement. This isn't about playing hard to get or implementing manipulative tactics. This is about genuine, soul deep self love that radiates from every pore. It's about creating a life so compelling, so rich, so full of passion and purpose that a potential partner becomes an addition, not a necessity. Your life is not a waiting room for love. It's a vibrant, dynamic, ever evolving masterpiece that you're constantly creating. Every passion you pursue, every boundary you set, every moment you choose yourself, these are the brushstrokes that make your life a work of art. And the right person won't just admire this art, they'll want to collaborate, to complement, to add their own colors to your canvas. This isn't about playing games. It's about being so deeply engrossed in your own fabulous life that external validation becomes irrelevant. You don't anxiously wait for his text. You're too busy living your extraordinary life. You don't obsess over where a potential relationship is going. You're too busy enjoying the moment, pursuing your passions, expanding your world. And when a man realizes he can't manipulate your emotions because you're already emotionally fulfilled, that, my loves, is when the real magic happens. That's when high quality men start paying attention. Now let's talk about standards, because in your dark feminine era, they're not just high, they're non-negotiable, carved in stone, and backed by an unshakable sense of self-worth. You understand now that every maybe is actually a resounding no. Every moment of I'll tolerate this is a direct act of self-betrayal. You date differently now, not from a place of desperation or fear of being alone, but from a place of profound discernment and self-respect. Standards are not a checklist. They're not a rigid set of requirements that reduce potential partners to a series of boxes to be ticked. They're a living, breathing reflection of your deepest values, your non-negotiable needs, your sacred boundaries. They're the guardian angels of your heart, protecting you from settling, from compromising, from losing yourself in the pursuit of connection. Let's break this down ruthlessly. He doesn't make plans. Next. No explanations needed, no emotional labor expended. He's inconsistent, sending those breadcrumb texts that keep you barely hanging on. Next. He makes you question your worth, triggers your insecurities, or leaves you feeling smaller after an interaction. Oh, honey. Not just next blocked, deleted, forgotten. This isn't about being cold or unfeeling. This is about radical self respect, about understanding that your time, your energy, your heart are precious resources that are not to be wasted on those who cannot or will not recognize their value. Every no is a powerful yes to yourself. Every standard you maintain is a love letter to your own worth. This is the era of, if he wanted to, he would. But more importantly, it's the era of, do I even want him to? Because you're not some passive participant waiting around, hoping some man will choose you. You are the selector. You are the prize. You are doing the choosing now with the precision of a queen and the confidence of someone who knows her non-negotiables. But here's the profound, often misunderstood truth about the dark feminine. It's not about being cold, calculating, or building impenetrable walls. It's about being so deeply in love with yourself that you refuse to accept anything less than extraordinary love. It's about that quiet, powerful moment of radical self acceptance when you realize you'd rather be gloriously, vibrantly alone than accept a lukewarm, mediocre version of love. The dark feminine is not a weapon or a shield, it's a celebration. It's the deep understanding that your complexity is not something to be feared or hidden, but something to be honored. It's the recognition that vulnerability is not weakness, but the most profound form of strength. You're not closing yourself off, you're opening up to the possibility of true, authentic connection. This energy isn't about pushing potential love away or building defensive mechanisms. It's about calling in the kind of love that matches your frequency, the kind of connection that doesn't require you to shrink, to explain, to justify your existence, the kind of partnership where you're seen in your full, complex, magnificent complexity and the other person doesn't just tolerate it but celebrates it. Solitude is not a punishment, it's a choice. It's a sacred space of self-discovery, of growth, of unfolding. Every moment you spend alone is an investment in yourself. You're not just waiting for love, you're becoming the kind of person who attracts a love that's as deep, as passionate, as multifaceted as you are. And until that arrives, you're not just content with your own company, you're thriving. You've built a life so rich, so full of purpose, passion, and personal growth that a potential partner would need to genuinely enhance your world, not just occupy space in it. You're not waiting. You're living. Fully, boldly, unapologetically. So here's your dark feminine dating manifesto. Commit these to memory. Write them on your mirror. Tattoo them on your heart if you must. You will no longer audition for a role in someone else's life. You are the lead actor, the director, and the entire production. This means understanding that your worth is not determined by your relationship status, but by the depth of your self-love, the magnitude of your dreams, the authenticity of your journey. You will no longer beg for the bare minimum. Your baseline is excellence, and anything less is a non-starter. This isn't about being demanding. It's about knowing your worth. It's about understanding that love should elevate you, not diminish you. That a true connection should feel like coming home to yourself, not like a constant battle to prove your value. You will no longer confuse potential for reality. Dreams and promises mean nothing without consistent, aligned action. Words are beautiful, but actions are the true language of love. You'll no longer invest in maybes, in potential, in the promise of what could be. You'll invest in what is in consistency, in respect, in genuine connection. You will take your power back not through manipulation or game playing, but through an unshakable, bone-deep sense of self-worth. This is about radical self-love, about understanding that your value is inherent, not something to be earned or proven. You'll date from a place of abundance, not scarcity, of fullness, not emptiness. You'll understand that the right partner won't need to be convinced of your value, he'll recognize it immediately, will be inspired by it, will want to rise to meet you. This is the magic of the dark feminine you don't chase. You attract. You don't dim your light to make others comfortable. You shine so brightly that only those who can match your frequency will dare to come close. And until he arrives, you'll be living so fully, so passionately, so authentically that when he does show up, he'll have to sprint to catch up with you. Welcome to your dark feminine era, loves. This isn't just a dating strategy. This is a complete recalibration of your entire relational paradigm, where you're no longer afraid to want what you want, where you no longer apologize for taking up space, where dating becomes less about the desperate question of does he like me, and more about the empowered exploration of do I even like him? This is more than a moment. It's a movement, a revolution of the heart, of self-perception, of how you show up in the world. Every boundary you set, every time you choose yourself, every moment you refuse to settle, you're not just changing your dating life, you're rewriting the entire script of how women are taught to love, to exist, to be. This is your time, the old rules, shattered. The game, completely redesigned. And darling, you're not just holding the cards now. You're the entire damn casino. Your worth is not negotiable. Your standards are not up for debate. Your love for yourself, for your dreams, for your journey is the most powerful force in the universe. So rise, shine, roar. Your dark feminine era begins now.